Sudanshu, nice to meet you. I'm Paul Hernandez.
Hi, Paul.
Uh, and well, thank you for inviting me for this kind of initiative. I'm always keen to learn from each other and share knowledge and exchange opinions.
Maybe let's start with your introduction. So we'll get to know about you, your background, what you do at Microsoft, and yeah, what is your day-to-day life?
Okay, yes, as mentioned, first born and raised in Venezuela, and I study actually electronic engineering, so I'm an electronic engineer. But I never worked in that profession. So, well, I started my career many years ago now in sales, and now I'm in sales again after so many years. But well, that time I was selling valve and actuators for oil and gas industry. This is the traditional Venezuelan business.
Hmm.
And but then I always was keen to work with computer science. And already in 2003, 2004, I had some colleagues already working from home, programming with PHP and doing basic
Hmm.
websites on web application that time. And that captured my attention a lot. And therefore, I changed a little bit and did a master in that time was in Windows administration, Cisco networks and .NET development as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
And that opened the door actually to move and continue in let's say in the computer science or software engineering space. And then curiously, I landed in a PhD program,
Hmm.
and I started to work in a software engineering research group dedicated to data warehousing. And I started to work with data at that time, and I never stopped actually. So this was
Nice.
I'm very passionate about technology, um, but I start to create my first dashboards that time with open source tools and to work in ETL projects. And one thing brought me to the next one, you know. So from
Hmm.
that, okay, but please help us to integrate some data, and then well, now we have much more data, and the big data arose.
Yeah.
So it was first a buzzword, but it was a reality, and then I learned how to deal with big data, and then cloud. For many reasons, no scalability, on some flexibility, and some other
Hmm.
nice things. And well, nowadays, as you mentioned, I'm working now as a solution engineer
Hmm.
and dedicated to data and AI services. I must say in the AI space, what I like is to help companies to adopt AI,
Hmm.
and this is where we can maybe have a broader discussion. So I take some
Yeah.
notes, something I would like to mention.
Hmm.
But I'm not a machine learning engineer that is able to build robust models and so on. No, I know basics. I know how to do basic things around AI, but it's not my core competency,
So
let's say.
you basically worked in different tiers of the market. Like I say, it's a four tier. You worked in the enterprise and then cloud and then, I mean, big data and then cloud and then now you're working on AI. So it's like four different steps of where the market has been grown. How you see data has been transformed into the AI? I mean, what do you see as a relevance?
So I think, and that's something I make some notes. So maybe I can go back to my reference in case I need to reference something specific. No, but it's actually what I want to discuss with you is where we are today, actually,
Yeah,
and to understand where we are today. I think it's very interesting to study history, and I think history is crucial to
absolutely.
understand the actual moment. And I searched for some references now from the Industrial Revolution we had from at the end of the 19th century and beginning of the 20th century. And why is that so important? Because I think that mirror where we are right now. And it's because at that time, electricity changed, revolutionized the industry, no? For
Yeah.
many reasons, because you have a more robust power supply. But at the very beginning, it was not, the adoption was slow and take decades until you really had these productivity gains. And we have the first sentence that we are talking a lot right now. Where are the productivity gains? No, we know.
Mhm.
Well, we are here in Europe, so maybe I have more insights of the industry in Europe and in Germany. But we have a lack of productivity, and this is so important right now to be competitive. No,
Maybe
when you have,
yeah, that's why
yes.
I have one question very much related to what you're explaining. So, how is the enterprise AI, I mean, also at Microsoft, is reshaping your role and also industry? And what is the significance of enterprise AI? Because people also have a EU AI law is also near, so we also have to make sure the compliance is there. How you see this as a working in a Microsoft as well as also in the AI industry? What is the significance of enterprise AI?
Well, I don't know exactly the term, how to define the term enterprise
Mhm.
AI. What I can tell you is we have when we are going in conversation with customers, we have like four different buckets where we are creating impact.
Mhm.
And of course, and this is why I want to do this email with this industrial revolution I was talking about, because now where we can see a lot of productivity gains is in personal productivity. No? So with
Yeah.
the copilots, right now I cannot imagine that I can work without copilots again.
Yeah. Same here.
Uh, but of course, not completely blindly. So, well, I say Copilot, but could be any of the other AIs available on the market that's revolutionized at the moment uh, personal productivity. But this is not enterprise AI.
Mhm.
I think this is still not enterprise AI, no, because
Yeah.
um, you have your tools. Then, and this is also interesting discussion because I know people saying I thought with that I can only work 2 hours a day
Mhm.
and then I'm not seeing that. No, I see the benefits but I think that this is a wrong mindset because you can achieve much more, but you are expecting also to achieve more, not to work less hours, but in the same amount of hours to achieve
Yeah.
much more.
But I mean, you're talking about the use case, how we are using AI, like as a Copilot or Copilot Studio. We are going to touch about that as well. Um, But I'm talking about if people have to develop some applications and they have some personal informations like GDPR compliant data, something like that. And they have also SLA to meet. They want it to be 100% reliable every time the response is there. They want to reduce the cost of hosting a model. And that's where I mentioned the enterprise AI, which is providing you out of the box, like the Azure AI Foundry. Um, so I was talking about that, like which makes sure the compliance has been met. There is no data leaks. Everything is data locality is there in the Europe. And it's also compliant with the new laws coming, like EU AI law. For that, people like if you see as a startups or a mid-size level companies, they don't have to invest more into hosting a model infrastructure for these models and making sure the security compliance in place for their customers. And that's where I mentioned the enterprise AI, and it was previously enterprise cloud, like in our era, and now it's also in enterprise AI, where people are getting out of the box services, which is secure, compliant, and with a reduced or less SLA. What do you think
Okay,
about?
well, first, a very short disclaimer. I'm not
Mhm.
entitled to talk on behalf of
Yeah,
Microsoft.
no problem.
So opinions are my own, but from now on, I can tell you also with not only with Microsoft, with of other vendors, you should differentiate if you are buying or building. So
Yeah.
if you are using this Copilot dimension from Microsoft 365, you're buying AI with some compliance and some security and guide rails around it. If you are building, then of course you have other responsibility. And there's I haven't brought any slide for today. It's more like informal conversation, but
Yeah.
you were talking about regulations. There are regulations like DORA also for the finance
Yeah.
industry. I don't know if you know the
Yeah, I know that.
Digital
Yeah.
Operational Resiliency Act.
Yeah. The
And
Fedora. Yeah.
it's important to understand that we have shared responsibilities. So from the Microsoft side, we have responsibilities, and this varies. This is a software as a service, if this platform as a service, or this is infrastructure as a service. And for sure, we are trying to certify and to meet all of the most common industry certifications regarding security, supporting, making functionalities to support GDPR and other regulations.
Mhm.
But from the customer side, for the companies also needs to do their job,
Yeah.
and also there are also shared responsibilities. So this is
It's a very
that's
great point.
because
Yeah.
it's important that we work like a team really in those kind of projects because there it must be clear who is responsible for what, and but also there are shared responsibilities.
Yeah. And you've touched upon the Copilot. I also want to understand, we are also user of the Copilot and Copilot Studio. We've been using a Copilot Studio a lot nowadays. And as you see, the no-code AI agent platforms or where you design the workflows, this market is growing a lot. How you see it as a solution architect at Microsoft?
Exactly. This is. I will try to make the point with the history and not go too back, actually, but I want to summarize it. No, and in that
Mhm.
era, they just replaced this steam engine in the industry. You had a factory with equipment, and you have a system of belts and shaft
Mhm.
that power all of this, the movement of these equipments. And when the electricity arrived, they just replace this steam engine, centralized steam engine, with dynamo, and then the dynamo still move the same system of shaft and belt
Mhm.
and bias, and this is exactly where I think we are right now. So we are still working with legacy software, with legacy workflows, and with legacy processes. No?
Absolutely.
This is really, I'm really thankful also to have the opportunity to reshape how industry will be. No? So, and of course, if we want to go further, one of the things we need to reimagine these workflows, how this will work in the industry, these processes. And for sure, tools like Copilot Studio, you can define, you can be more active. No, you have from one side, you can create flows that could be similar to maybe what we have with Power Automate. So you try to automate business processes.
Yeah.
The thing is, of course, if you want to reshape these business processes, are the right business processes in place, or I have the opportunity to create new business processes, new workflows. And also, for sure, what is completely super interesting is this autonomy, where you let a LLM, thanks to the reasoning capabilities of the LLMs, that they're figuring out what is to be done actually autonomously. No, and of course that brought many challenges like security, compliance, and so on, because at the end you are giving control to AI. So this is, of course, very challenging, and I think not only Microsoft, every company is or vendor and customers are working on solutions to address that problems.
Mhm. Um, you see this AI trend is you feel overhyped, or it is a natural progression towards like the future market or future platforms, how it should be, or future software is how it should be.
I think there's a lot of hype for sure. So I cannot say that that's not true. But there are also too many challenges, and it's a moment where we have also a lot of geopolitics and a lot of there's a AI race between China and US, for instance, and there's a kind of need to lead this race, to be on the top, and we need to differentiate really where you can really solve problems with
Hmm.
AI, and where there's also hype, and for sure there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of players, no one wants to be left behind, and for sure I think the key is to know your business, or know the future business and where you can really use AI, not for the sake of I don't know. There are some pressure sometimes for CEOs or CTOs that if it's a public company, and maybe your shareholders want to hear how you're going to leverage AI
Correct.
to, I don't know, booster your revenue, or to save costs and so on. And I think it's the same game, in that sense that the one that find value is the one that is going to lead.
Hmm.
That can find value and deliver that value, of course.
Yeah, in continuation of discussion, I mean, there is an also follow-up question. What skills will matter most in this AI economy, or like AI frontier applications?
I think the number one skill again is you need to know your business. No? So you need to know if you want to increase your revenue, if you want to improve your business, you need to know your business, how to measure that, and from that's something that won't be replaced by AI. Of course, you can use it as a sparring partner, that you ask questions, and you have you have access to a lot of knowledge. Maybe you had it before, but you don't have the way to summarize it, or to have a business consultant that can be an AI. In that sense, maybe business consultant could be worried if people start to using AI for
Yeah.
their own business. But disregarding if this is a new business model, or this is an existing business model that you want to reshape, or you want to solve problem, that I think these skills are really quite important. I'm a little bit worried about some reports I've seen, and some statistics that in the last in the I was talking before, last decade we talked about big data and AI, also not Gen AI, but AI was also a hype,
Mhm.
and IoT was also hype.
Correct.
And many people told their children that you need to study software engineering, computer science, you need to be a programmer. And now it turns out, and of course there are some concerns around it, that the number of junior vacancies dropped significantly over the last year. No?
Yes, yeah.
Of course, it's not always easy to just attribute it to AI. Could be also many other reasons.
Hmm.
But of course, it could be that we can achieve more with less, in that sense, and we need to be also careful of social impact.
Hmm.
And of course, there are many studies, and it's controversial topic. And I think I don't have a strong opinion, but I just say we need to pay attention to that, because talking also about previous industrial revolutions, that also, of course, when I also was looking at a reference of Gutenberg, and when he invented the printed in the 15th century, I think. Also, many people lost their jobs also, because they were writing
Hmm.
things, no? And,
Yeah,
and and
yeah.
now you can produce in mass. And of course, many jobs are in let's say risk.
Hmm.
Um, Actually, there's I need to find the reference. I'm very bad with the name of the books, but there are people already categorizing which jobs are more in risk, and now, and in a near future, and where are not. No? So, for instance, uh, people that make X-rays, and they need to analyze the X-rays. No,
Hmm.
we know that AI could be much more reliable on that. No, so for
Correct.
radiology, it's a difficult topic.
Hmm.
But soft skills are very important as well. So I don't know if I answer your question or just talking
Yeah, yeah,
too
that's
much, but
that's why I'm asking a follow-up question on it. Um, Imagine if I am like a fresh out 20 years old um, guy and I'm also looking for a job change. Not a job change, but I'm looking for a start. What is most important skill you will advise me um, in this era where AI is booming?
okay. Well, I also have two daughters. They are still young, but not too young. Already 10 and 12, so they are approaching that not 20, but still young, but they still started to make up their minds about it. And I still giving the same. I don't like to give too much advice, but if I share my experience and say, hey, you need to try to match where you are good
I
at.
mean, give me your point of view, like what do you think? Like on
Yes,
that. Yeah.
I think you should match what you are good at with something that can bring some money, because at the end, uh, it's not a discussion if the war is fair or unfair. I think the most important thing is to understand how thing works. So, and that's something you are not you don't learn at the school. Things like how a mortgage works, how our interest rates work, how the economy work.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's crucial that it doesn't matter in which domain you are going to work, that you understand how business work. So not be so
Interesting.
naive, but you really understand how thing works, how a company looks for revenue, what happen if not, what happen if your country, the economy of your country is not growing,
Mm-hmm.
um, what happened when you ask for a mortgage, those kind of things I think are crucial because we don't live in Disney World. This is no an afternoon in a McDonald's. So it's
Yeah.
and
Yeah. So let me summarize. So basically, you're advising me to look for what's going in the market and adapt accordingly because um, it's not a software engineer job like which where the market is open for you always, but you have to look for the opportunity. And if there is a skill, like if I have some business already, if I'm from business mindset, then I will start growing myself to how can I leverage AI in my business. Or if I am from a service background, or basically my parents are all doing the services, then I have to see how can I be benefiting and I can learn fast, adapt to the market, see how the business works and grow accordingly.
That's a
Wonderful.
good summary. It's a good summary. So you need to know how the real world works. It doesn't matter your domain, and of course, if AI is coming, you need to know where you can use it, where you can leverage AI to
Mhm.
bring your business or whatever activity or whatever you are pursuing to the next level. That's true. So if you say no, I don't want to work in marketing because I really like marketing. By AI, maybe will it's that marketing people. Maybe you need to switch or to change your way of thinking and say, no, let's see how we can reshape marketing with AI and maybe how to, I don't know, teach other ones to use AI for marketing. So it's not. You need to evaluate the risk, of course, but it's not your enemy. So and
Great advice.
it, it's unstoppable also. By the way, so.
Absolutely. Maybe one last question from my side. What is a one surprising lesson you have learned from the AI projects or AI consulting?
One surprise lesson. Let me think about it. Well, it's difficult to find a single surprise. What I think maybe is that again people are now reevaluating how their business works more than ever, and I think this discussing where AI can help them also make them rethink and find unarticulated problems or ideas they had before and now they think they are more confident. They can also achieve their goals. So
Hmm.
that's one of my takeaways.
Yeah. And how can they differentiate being confident and overconfident when they have AI in their hand? Like they are able to use AI, how they can make sure they are not a bit overconfident but confident. What could be the measures they can have in place, embedded in their systems, in their softwares, to make sure they are not going out of the um, yeah out of the applications and out of the confidence, and then it can break with the hallucinations in the AI is also known.
Okay, that's still a very open field. So, we have evaluations, we have content safety, and many other things.
Hmm.
Well, I guess it depends also on the sector. No, it's you're going to be in healthcare. Maybe you should be more cautious, or use AI first to improve, I don't know, patient satisfaction, but not directly in treatments and experimenting with people, something like this, no?
Yeah.
Or in the financial sector. Um, but of course, I think we have enough regulations and some other mechanism. And unfortunately, I think I don't want maybe that sounds a bit hard, but when I don't know, we invented airplanes or cars, then we had accidents and many people died that should haven't died. And maybe, well, I hope with the AI that won't be exactly that case, but there are of course risk, and they always have been.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective because most of the people are dying with the car accidents, but still people are driving the car. And that's also interesting take, like people may misuse AI for fake videos, fake faces, or maybe there will be other, like with the voice AI, you can clone any one person voice. So there are also a lot of negativities with it, or negative use of it, but still you will be able to use it for a good purpose as well. And there will be a goodness like where you can actually use it for saving some people in the medical industry, or understanding your patient better, or spreading the um, good news with that. Or also, I mean, basically it's AI is here to help you with the natural language understanding. I mean, if I'm talking about the text models, to understand your sentiments of your customer better, and then you can serve them better. It could be in any industries.
Yes, it's maybe a bit hard to admit that we need to sacrifice some things to
Yeah,
achieve some others. It's hard because you don't want to harm anyone, no? So,
yeah.
but this is for instance with self-driving. So and you notice the difference between mentality here in Germany, for instance, compared to US. So for Tesla, if they achieve the same level of
Hmm.
confidence, they are okay, because okay, if I don't know, 100 people die driving alone and 100 people
Yeah,
die with self-driving, is we're on the same limit. Here we want to be twice as secure to release the technology.
absolutely,
But
absolutely.
still, you have some risk. You need to know how to mitigate them, or how to try to avoid them. But you
Mm.
can be zero risk.
Yeah, in US, people are also using, have a confidence in using like a Waymo car taxis, which is basically autonomous driving car. And it's also like maybe people in Europe not have that confidence, um, because of maybe 1%, 2% risks. But yeah, I understand and fully agree with you. I think we are almost done with our podcast. I mean, we could have like you have some questions to me, which I can answer in a short period of time.
Okay, well, just want to mention also, it's not a question for you. Also, the last similar I want I prepare for the interview. It's also about the printers, no? Because I don't know if this resonate with the current moment, but at that time it also was heavily criticized also by the church and other
Yes.
institutions that you're going with the printer, you can massively produce books, and they thought they were inundate the world with crap, so with bad content.
Hmm.
And I know now with AI, it's also
Yeah.
a hot topic. But you see, we are talking. We are in sixth, seventh centuries after that, and we are
Hmm.
having still the same problem, right?
Yes.
So there are, of course, bad
It's
actors
happening
always,
every time. I mean,
and
it's
every time.
in the printing when invented the rails, cars, these the horse carts been replaced with the motor cars. So every industry is basically revolutionizing and also replacing the existing industry. And people like us have to adapt to that, see the market where the market is growing and grow accordingly. So it's very important to learn about what's going on in the market and where the direction is. In the big data, it also happened, and it's also happened in the cloud. It also happened in AI.
Maybe a question also,
Mhm.
because you are talking to many people.
Mhm.
What do you think about in the future? And we have now a handful of major AI providers, mostly cloud-based.
Mhm.
How do you see that would be I don't want to say in 10 years, but in the next 2, 3, 5 years, do you think companies will invest also in their own data centers and then try
They
to
are.
combine?
They are. So the small language models, SLM, and also they are also now micro because you can run these models also on edge devices like on your iPhones, also in Android phones. So that market is growing a lot, and people have a confidence on this will grow, and then people have their own, or every industry will have their own SLMs, and they can basically use it for train or fine tune, and which can work. So people have less confidence on a generalized models, which one shoes is fitting for all the feeds. That's not going to happen. So we'll have a different small language model for every industry or for every specific subject matter. And that's going to happen. And people also have a lot of hope for voice AI. I think we are going to end in a minute. But yeah, I will call you. You can just give me a number. We could also follow up a discussion. So, but yeah, market is growing and people are having hope on the voice AI, small language models, and their own infrastructure, small infrastructure where you can host a small language model for serving us specific. People have hope for AI agents because small language model can orchestrate AI agents. Then it's basically serving their purpose. And if they can do it with a low latency within the edge devices, that's basically a gold for them. And that's where the market is growing. I mean, what I have seen so far. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much.